Tere kõigile armsad, hämmastavad loojad. Kas sul on keegi täna öelnud, kui ilus sa oled? Sellena, kes sa oled? Kõigega, mis sa oled? Kas sul on keegi öelnud täna, et sinu teadlikkus ei ole kunagi vale? Mida sa tead? Mida sa ei ole lubanud endal teada? Et kui sa nüüd teadvustad, siis su elu muutub. Tere!
Tere!
I now know for sure that saying tere makes total sense to you. You know, we don't have to say hi. We can say...
I speak Estonian.
Yeah, ma nüüd olen täiesti veendunud, et ma võin Sadule öelda tere, sest ta teab, millest ma räägin.
Yes. Hello!
Tere! Hyvää iltaa.
Hyvää iltaa. Exactly. How would you say that in Estonian?
Tere õhtust.
Tere õhtust.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. Welcome to this week's Talk to the Entities Estonian live.
Tere tulemast selle nädalasse Räägi olemitega Facebook live'i.
I think the last one we did when I was in Croatia still.
Eelmine kord me tegime vist Facebook live'i, kui Sadu oli Horvaatias. I think so. I cannot recall. Ma arvan, et see oli nii, et aga ma ei mäleta.
Well, now I'm here in Finland again after the amazing symphony of possibilities and maestro classes.
Nüüd ma olen Soomes taas peale seda hämmastavat sümfoonia ja maestro klassi.
And Anneli just also told me that it was it already Father's Day or is it still coming?
Yeah, Anneli just ütles mulle, et kas juba oli isadepäev või see tuleb. Well, that's exactly where I'm at. See on täpselt see, kus mina selle teadlikkusega olen. Kas isadepäev alles tuleb või see juba oli? Aga...
Somebody please let us know.
Kas keegi annaks meile teada, kas juba oli või alles tuleb?
Time has disappeared as it used to be.
Aeg on täielikult kadunud sellisel moel, nagu see oli.
But basically we'll be talking about entities and dads.
Aga millest me räägime on olemid ja isad.
There's a really cool story about a dad in Talk to the Entities book.
Hästi lahe lugu on isast Räägi olemitega raamatus.
And there's basically a story about this guy who used to be Shannon's boyfriend.
Ja see on lugu sellest kutist, kes oli Shannoni poissõber.
What's the boyfriend in the story?
Poissõber, or you can also say boyfriend, or you can say kallim. But that's like an old version of how you say it. People don't really talk like that anymore.
That was funny.
See oli naljakas.
Yeah, and they were living together, sleeping in the same bed.
Nad elasid koos, nad magasid ühes voodis.
And at one point Shannon started noticing.
Üllatus. Ja ühel hetkel Shannon märkas.
That like whenever they would go to bed, there was this like massive like really intense energy on one side of the bed that she was sleeping on. Ja Shannon märkas, et kui nad lähevad voodisse, siis ühes voodi pooles on hästi intensiivne energia. And she noticed that there was a guy standing there that was like really just super intense. Ja
ta märkas, et seal oli üks kutt, kes seisis ja ta oli super intensiivne.
An entity, not an actual person.
Olem, mitte päris inimene.
That would have been funny.
See oleks olnud naljakas.
And she tried all the tools, like she tried clearing and everything, but this being just wouldn't leave.
Ja ta proovis kasutades kõiki vahendeid, töövahendeid ja see olem lihtsalt ei lahkunud.
And then she eventually just gave up and asked her boyfriend to sleep on that side of the bed.
Ja siis ühel hetkel ta andis alla ja ütles oma poissõbrale, et ta magaks teisel pool voodit.
And
Voodist.
that went on for a while, and she kept perceiving this being.
Ja see toimus edasi jätkuvalt ja ta tajus selle olemi kohalolu endiselt.
And then somehow they ended up talking about that this guy's dad had died.
Ja siis ühel hetkel nad justkui hakkasid rääkima, et selle poissõbra isa oli surnud.
And then Shannon was like, "Ah."
Ja siis Shannon oli
and realized that the being who was standing there by the bed was actually her boyfriend's dad.
Ja siis ta teadvustas, et see olend, kes selle voodi kõrval seisis, oli tegelikult tema poissõbra isa.
And she had not been talking about these kinds of things to this boyfriend before.
Ja ta ei olnud oma poissõbraga nendel teemadel varem vestelnud.
She just was like, okay, I just have to talk about this.
Ja siis ta ütles, et okei, ma lihtsalt pean sellest rääkima.
And she mentioned about this being there to the boyfriend.
Ja siis ta mainis sellest olemist, kes oli seal voodi kõrval seisnud oma poissõbrale.
And then they ended up having a conversation.
Ja siis nad vestlesid.
And the relationship of the guy and the dad had not been very good.
Ja selle poissõbra suhe oma isaga ei olnud väga kiita.
And he always had this sense that the dad didn't actually appreciate him or approve what he was doing.
Ja sellel poissõbral oli alati olnud tunne, et see isa ei ole tänulik selle eest, et ta on.
And then this dad actually came there to apologize for what he had been during their lifetime.
Ja see isa oli tegelikult tulnud sinna tema juurde, et tegelikult vabandust paluda selle eest, mis ta eluaeg oli olnud.
And to really say that he's grateful and that he loves him.
Et öelda talle, kui tänulik ta talle on ja et ta teda armastab.
And to really say like the goodbye that he wasn't, and those things that he wasn't willing to say during the lifetime.
Ja neid asju ta tuli talle ütlema, mida ta ei olnud valmis ütlema talle, kui ta elus oli.
And yet he felt that he needed to do that before he could move on.
Ja ta tundis, et ta peab seda talle ütlema enne, kui ta saab edasi liikuda.
And imagine if Shannon had not been there, how long this being would have just stood there by the bed, trying to get the son to listen.
Ja kujutad ette, et kui kaua see olend oleks pidanud seal seisma, seni kui Shannonit poleks olnud, et kuni teda oleks kuulda võetud.
So then they cried and, cuddled and everything, and then the being moved on.
Ja siis nad nutsid ja siis nad kallistasid ja siis nad olid valmis edasi liikuma.
And maybe some of you can, just listening to this, perceive the sense of peace that things like this create.
Ja võib-olla, kui sa praegu kuulad seda, siis sa võib-olla tajud seda energiat, mis seal avaldus.
And that's the kind of peace that is available with entity awareness.
Ja selline rahu on võimalik selle olendite teadlikkusega.
And these things that seem like scary or intense might not be that at all.
Ja need asjad, mis tunduvad hirmsad või intensiivsed, ei pruugi seda üldse olla.
When you add the awareness and see what it really is.
Et kui sa lisad selle teadlikkuse, siis sa näed, mis see tegelikult on.
And yeah, I think that's just such an incredible story.
Minu meelest on see lihtsalt üks imeilus lugu.
And while we're talking about dads, also my dad is also dead.
Et praegu, kui me räägime isadest, siis ka minu isa on surnud.
funny thing was that some time ago we did talk to the entities book club about this book.
Naljakas on see, et mõnda aega tagasi me tegime Räägi, olemitega raamatuklubi selle raamatuga.
And I chose the date that worked for me.
Ja ma valisin selle päeva, mis minu jaoks töötas.
And guess which chapter I got to read?
Ja arva ära, mis peatükki mina sain lugeda.
It was exactly this one about this guy's dad.
Ja see oli täpselt see peatükk, kus rääkis sellest isast.
And my dad died about 5 years ago.
Minu isa suri umbes 5 aastat tagasi.
And is actually the reason why I moved to Finland.
Ja see oli tegelikult põhjus, miks ma kolisin Soome.
Because I was living elsewhere, but then I heard that he was diagnosed with cancer.
Ma elasin sellel ajal mujal, kui ma kuulsin, et ta oli diagnoositud vähk.
And he and everybody else kept saying that it's fine, it will be fine.
Ja kõik teised ja tema kaasa arvatud ütlesid, et see kõik saab olema okei.
But I knew immediately that he will die.
Ja mina teadsin kohe, et ta sureb.
So I chose to come to Finland because I figured it might be easier if I'm actually here.
Ja siis ma valisin tulla Soome, sest ma arvasin, et on lihtsam, kui ma olen siin.
And after I had been here about 3 months, he died.
Ja siis, kui ma olin olnud siin 3 kuud, siis ta suri.
And the funny thing is that I had not really seen him or talked with him for years before that.
Ja naljakas on see, et enne seda ma ei olnud temaga kohtunud aastaid.
Because he remarried this Russian lady who forbid him to be in contact with me and my sister.
Sest ta abiellus uuesti ühe vene naisterahvaga, kes ei lubanud olla tal ühenduses minu ega mu õega.
They actually lived in Estonia.
Nad elasid Eestis. These bastards.
And yeah, so I had not seen him talk with him. I didn't really have very good relationship with him.
Ja ma ei olnud teda näinud ja mul ei olnud temaga väga hea suhe.
And when he died, suddenly I basically got dad.
Ja kui ta suri, siis mina põhimõtteliselt sain omale isa.
Because now this wife could no longer stop him from talking to me.
Sest nüüd see tema uus naine ei saanud mind enam peatada, et meie saaksime omavahel suhelda.
And since then I have created such a different relationship with him.
Ja sellest hetkest saadik olen ma temaga loonud hästi teistsuguse suhte.
And I am so grateful that I'm willing to be aware of entities and have these tools.
Ja ma olen nii tänulik, et ma olen nõus ja valmis omama neid töövahendeid, mis on Räägi olemitel ja kasutama neid.
So nothing really has to be a sadness or a problem or an issue.
Mitte midagi ei pea tegelikult olema kurb või probleem.
But it can actually be a beautiful possibility.
Aga see võib tegelikult olla imeilus võimalus.
Beyond any known reality.
Enam kõigest sellest, mida sa tead, et võimalik on.
So yeah, that's my invitation for you to start being more aware.
See on minu kutse sulle, et olla veel enam teadlik.
Find the beauty that awaits you.
Leia see ilu, mis sind ootab.
And all the possibilities.
Ja kõik need võimalikkused.
That are just hidden underneath all the sadness and fear and drama and all that.
Mis on peidus kõige selle draama ja kurbuse all.
That's really just the surface.
See on päriselt ainult see pealispind.
So what awaits you?
Nii et mis sind ees ootab?
At the next Talk to Entities class.
Ja meie järgmine Räägi olemitega klass.
So most of you probably know when it is and all that.
Paljud ja enamus teist ilmselt teab, millal see on.
And I would also like to let you know that in the beginning of February there's something else happening.
Ja ma tahan veel ühest põnevast asjast sulle teada anda, mis toimub veebruari alguses.
I will be facilitating X-Men class.
Oh my goodness, ma vahendan X-meeste klassi.
So maybe we will have Estonian translation for that
Võib-olla meil on ka selles klassis eesti tõlge olemas ja saadaval.
And it will be in online.
Ja see saab olema online'is, veebi vahendusel.
We'll get you soon more info.
Me anname sulle peagi rohkem infot selle kohta.
So hope to see you at the either Dr. Indy's class or at the X-Men class or in the next lives that we'll be
or
doing.
All of them. Nii et kohtume sinuga kas järgmises Räägi olemitega klassis, X-meeste klassis või kõikides nendes tulevastes klassides.
And we will be doing more lives, so let us know if you have questions.
Ja me jätkame nende laivide tegemist ja anna meile teada, kui sul on küsimusi.
It can be about anything.
See võib olla mis tahes teemal.
Thank you so much, Anneli, and thank you everybody listening. And what next?
Aitäh, Anneli, ja aitäh kõigile kuulamast ja mis nüüd, mis järgmiseks?
Head ööd.
Head und.
Bye bye.